I thought it was a great team effort. We found out, 30 minutes before the game that Royce wasn't going to be able to go because his back was really, really tight. And that, we had to kind of reset because, he's a big, big component of everything we do. But Demarius did a great job jumping into the starting lineup and playing with poise and aggressiveness. I thought he was really effective for us at the top of the press, which was very, very important to try to disrupt rhythm and get our hands on the basketball. We got 32 deflections, which is a standard for us. And then as the game wore on, I thought our guys' aggressiveness on the offensive end went up. They saw where we could get in the paint. NJ did a heck of a job, finding angles and getting to the basket. I thought this was one of Chase's better games in terms of playing with poise and managing the game and getting into the paint and finding his teammates.
Just the first road win of the season, and you had 5 starters scoring double figures. Just what did that say about the effort of the team, just everyone banded together to get that?
Well, we needed that. Sometimes when a guy goes out, it can kind of affect you one of two ways. And, our guys rose to the occasion and stepped forward. We're a team that relies pretty heavily on Royce's scoring. We go to Royce quite a bit, so when you take him out of the equation, it changes some of the stuff that we run and what we do. But I thought, again, NJ and Chase, they did a great job with the ball, making plays, making decisions. I thought Adrian, his aggressiveness got better and better as the game went on. Him getting a couple layups in transition was really important for him, just to see the ball in and get going. I also thought he did a nice job on Mac, who's a very dangerous player for Georgetown.
Did you know what exactly happened with Royce, how he hurt his back?
It just really, really tightened up. It happened one time before last year, his freshman year, right before practice. And I remember he was in the weight room, they were getting warmed up, and he just kind of tweaked it. So, Royce, he still has a young body. He's 19 years old. He's not a grown man yet, which is exciting because there's a lot of room for growth, and he's already a very, very good player. But, between Royce and Todd, our strength coach, and Kenny, our trainer, I'm sure they'll spend a lot of time, figuring out how to make sure that he's ready to go. I told him if whatever I need to do to help, I'm happy to. But he's a really important part of what we do.
Coach, wanted to talk a little bit about Nigel James Jr. and kind of his growth throughout the season. What does it mean for your team to have a player that can kind of get microwave hot like that, especially in a year where maybe the ball hasn't bounced your way, but towards the end of the season you have a guy that you feel like he's a guy that you have that could kind of give you a shot against anyone down the road?
Well, the thing that Nigel's done is every game he has done a great job adjusting to the game. And he's learned, okay, they're guarding me this way. Here's what I can take from that. I really am impressed with his willingness to adjust and respond and react, connect with me, talk about what we need to do next and just hang in there. He and Adrian, if you look at how many minutes they've played as freshmen, this is kind of the time of year when sometimes guys in their first year get a little overwhelmed, but those guys, knock on wood, have gone the other direction. They're stepping forward and emerging, and that's what we need.
Coach, it's been a challenging season. I wanted to know, what have you learned about your team and what have you learned about yourself as a coach during this time?
Well, I think when you go through a season like this, number one, it really forces you to look inward as a coach, as players, as a team. How can we be better? How can we grow? What really matters? What's most important? And then I think growth is always important to us, but obviously when you're not where you want to be, it's even more pressing, or it feels even more pressing. So there's just been an extreme emphasis over the last few months of, how do we grow our guys? How do we grow our team? I do think we've gotten better, in the last several weeks. Sometimes that's reflected in the score. Sometimes it hasn't. But I appreciate how our guys have stayed connected with each other. And we've been in a lot of positions on the road where we had the chance to go take the game, and we haven't. So to be able to extend the lead and win the game tonight is a big deal. In terms of what I've learned about myself, just trying to be better for these guys, just trying to figure out, every team is different, trying to be more resourceful when, there's a million forces in the world that are trying to make you less. And not that those forces are always intentional, but, it's really important just to look in the mirror and understand that anything I'm asking our team to do starts with me. I have to set the right example. And as Gandhi said, be the change I want to see. And so that's what I'm trying to do with our guys, and our guys have been very receptive.
Hey, Coach. I go to Bulls where Adrian played last year. You touched on it a little bit. How do you think he played? What was your thoughts on his performance tonight? And then how have you seen him progress as he gotten more crucial minutes as the season gone on?
He's really made progress. I spent a lot of time at Bullis recruiting him, and one of the nicest schools that I've been to. Coach Kelly, his high school coach, did a heck of a job mentoring him to be someone that cares about all the right things as a basketball player. And Adrian's work ethic is second to none. He cares about winning. I'm really just impressed how he's taken on the challenge with our team. We typically will put him on the other team's best guard or perimeter player. Today he did a good job on Miles Mack. Mac's a heck of a player, and we just wanted to make him inefficient, and Adrian did a great job of that. But his assertiveness and his aggressiveness is growing. I'd like him to shoot even more because he's one of the best scorers on our team.
With Nigel, you see him every day. How much are you still taken aback when he does impressive things like that dunk he did in the second half for a 6-foot guard like he is? Yeah,
he just has an extreme burst and ability to be quick twitch out there on the floor. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised because I've seen him do some crazy, freakish things over the last few years. But that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it every time he does it. He's a special player. And again, I can't emphasize enough, his willingness to respond, choose to focus on the next most important thing when a few things didn't go his way early, had everything to do with him playing well the rest of the game. That is not a given, especially for a freshman on the road. So shows a lot of maturity from him.
Routinely, they answered your runs in the first and the second half with three-pointers. They didn't shoot it well. What was the message to your team when you saw them kind of jacking threes?
Well, it depends. Certain guys you're okay with shooting threes, and then other guys you're playing with fire. And then if it's a contested three, on most possessions they're going to get a shot. So if you can make it a contested three or a contested pull-up, you live with that. They made a couple early. Abraham made two. And you know what? I'll take the shots that they took. Obviously sometimes you get fortunate that some don't go in. We've certainly been on the other end of that before.
How important was it to sort of deny touches inside to Iwuchukwu in the second half? Because it seemed like that was basically defensively the big difference there.
He was really good in the first half. He's those two bigs they have are really, really good pieces, and they're guys that, it's interesting at that position. It's really the only position where it's hard to play two together like that. If those two guys were guards, you'd have them out there a lot more together, but it's just for a variety of reasons, it's tough. But those guys both present challenge. Jules obviously had a heck of a game against us at our place. And then Vince was on his way to just a monster game in the first half. We tried to tighten up our pick and roll defense where we, tried to take away the roll better in the second half. I thought our guys did a good job of that. And then just a few plays where we kept playing, got our hands on the ball when they did throw it to him. We don't really have anyone to match his size, but I thought with some assertiveness and aggressiveness, we were able to get some deflections, which was a big difference maker for us.
You mentioned Demar at the top of the press. Just how have you seen him figure out how to use his athletic gifts to make an impact on the game?
Well, through presence. The more present you are when you're Demarius Owens, the more athletic you are, the more aggressive you are, the more sense of urgency you have. And I know that sounds simple, but, if your mind is a half step in the past or a half step in the future, then you don't have a 37, 38-inch vertical jump anymore like he has. But I thought he played with really good presence. He knew what was coming next. For the most part, he wasn't caught by surprise by plays. That's happened in the past with him as a young player. He's still on a growth process to get to the point where he's the most ready and urgent player out there. But I thought today was a step in the right direction.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.